Welcome to Thought Cops, the only podcast where every week we police the mean streets of the internet because, hey, somebody's got to do it. And then we let you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in the court of public opinion. I am Officer Kevin.
And I'm Officer Grant. And if that was a real gun in your hand right now, I'd be dead.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just kind of waving it around your temple, hanging around.
Yeah, it's good. Do it more.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason we don't use real guns in the indoor area where we record a podcast, isn't it?
Even though we're in Chicago.
God, it's so annoying.
Dude, there's a cop on my shirt right now. Watch what the fuck you say.
Oh, boy. Let's give a warm welcome to a brand new guest to Thought Cops. We got Doejenggles in the house. How are you, Jen?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on.
What's going on? How is Chicago? How's the weather right now?
Cold as fuck.
No, today's warm. It's like 40.
Today's warm, but like on average,
it's 40.
It's been...
That's
yeah,
fucking
40.
freezing.
Thank God,
for me.
yeah.
It's shorts weather.
Classic
Oh,
Grant.
God.
Classic Grant. Now, you were telling us before recording you are in Orange County, correct?
Yeah.
That's the home of Disneyland. Am I right?
Yeah.
Are you recording from inside the Magic Castle?
Well, I worked there when I was in college, so.
Oh, for real?
Oh, that's cool.
I grew up-
Was that the what do you call the college Disney experience? Because my sister did that.
Well, I only did that for 1 year, the college program, and then I just transitioned to that actually kind of sucked. But being a regular employee, I mean, it's fine. It's just like any other, shitty retail or whatever cuck wage job that you have to do. It's kind of like that. It's like the same.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you were in the mini suit or the Daisy suit, but it doesn't sound like that was.
Do you know who was Sabrina?
The Teenage Witch?
No, Abelina Sabrina. She was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was actually a costume character.
I did not know that.
Oh, damn.
And I didn't know. When we talked one time about our experiences, she sent me a picture because they're pretty ironclad about costume and wardrobe there. Everything that gets checked in and out is very meticulous. She sent me a picture of Minnie Mouse gloves. I was like, how the hell did you do that? That's gangsta. Because nobody can do that. So, yeah, mad props to her.
Are the rumors true? Are the mascot suits air conditioned?
I have no idea. See, I didn't do that. So, I literally have I don't think that they are. I think because they have to do them in probably they can only be out, I think, in 20, 30-minute intervals, especially
Jesus
on
Christ.
really hot days. When it's July and it's really, really humid and disgusting and hot, it's bad.
Yeah, whenever I see somebody walking by in the Mickey Mouse costume, it's like seeing a dog in a car on a hot day. I hope the air conditioning's on. Poor bastard.
I've heard from people that have done that type of stuff because my sister worked for Disney for a long time. The theme parks and
did she do Orlando or was she out here?
Orlando? Yeah, and then she did the cruise. Then she did the cruise lines and shit like that. And she I think the general consensus is it's the worst job imaginable, but that people that do it love it because it's you get to make people and kids and shit like that happy, and it's rewarding, but it's also you're wearing a 80-pound suit that is 4,000 degrees.
Whatever you got to tell yourself to sleep at night, I guess.
Yeah.
Orlando weather, I think, is the worst in ever.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's true. Because I guess California is more of a dry heat. But yeah, Orlando's got that humidity. It's got to get so sticky in that thing, Grant.
Well, they have a ailment out there that is pretty common, I guess, where people start getting
COVID.
rashes on their legs. Well, that too. We're all fucking getting that again, even though we're 3 shots in.
God help me.
Yeah, Grant hasn't got it. Yeah,
I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
Kevin's gotten it. I haven't gotten it. No, I've gotten the shots. I haven't gotten the COVID.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I officially had it. I think I had it at the beginning of 2020, in February. I'm about 90% sure. I was really sick and that's what it was. But other than that, I haven't had it again that I know of. because people are getting it and they don't even know about it. So,
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But speaking of weird, I do want to talk about all the content that you're making. And I say that because you are the host of the podcast Real Weird Sickos, which you describe as a podcast about all things weird, sick, and real.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, when we have guests on, they're just like, okay, so like, what do we talk about? I'm like, anything.
Self-explanatory.
Anything gross you want to talk about? Like, like people are, it's really like not that bad. I'm like, it's because when we started that, like Tom, my co-host Tom and Charles, shout out. They were. Yeah,
he's the masked bastard. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just. I have my mask too. Like, I literally like ran across the street in like downtown San Diego and bought one because I saw him. It was like one of those Mexican markets. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I gotta go buy one, and that was like Charles. But we would sit and we would talk in like Discord calls, and I think we just kind of flowed nicely, and we just kind of talked about like anything, and people would tell us like, do you want to start a podcast? You probably start. I was like, I don't know if I have time for that. I don't know if we can. There's like 3 different time zones there. We're all wage cucks. So it's like, how are we going to make that work? And, we did actually, I was on a plane home from Florida, when I was like, I think we're going to try this. And then we recorded the next week, and, we've pretty much like kept it going since then. So it's a lot of fun.
And I also want to mention you have a YouTube channel, which I was checking out recently as well. You just, kind of in a similar vein, you kind of look for and discuss some of the weird esoteric things, I guess more specifically towards internet culture. Yeah. Kind of like these deep dives into specific topics. Like I was watching your Edward Penis Hands video.
That was actually something that I got the idea for when we were recording Sickos one day. Like Charles had mentioned it, and I was like, you don't say that exists. Well, now I have to see it. And it was like,
I mean, that movie was made to be porn parodied, I feel like. Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
But
guess what, Grant? Instead he's got him for the scissors.
They did such an amazing job. Like, the effort that went into that, and they actually kind of had like, I couldn't find any proof about it, but I'm about 90% sure they had like a Trident sponsorship.
Oh damn!
There's this scene where like they bring Edward to like the house, and there's like a big old fucking Trident poster on the wall, and it was like, was this sponsored?
Like toothpaste, right?
The gum, Trident gum.
Oh, the gum. Okay.
And I was like, is this actually sponsored? I couldn't find any, like when I was researching, I couldn't find any proof of that, but I'm pretty sure it was, they actually sponsored a porn. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I just kind of like find like these topics, and they're a little bit off. They're, they might have been done before, but like at this point, like on YouTube, like, what hasn't been done? Like, who hasn't?
Yeah, you just gotta make something. It's like
you just gotta do what you want to do, and
you find your voice.
I just have to do more of it. I just don't have time. Like, I'm sitting on like probably like 3 pretty cool topics right now that I need to start getting out, and I will probably get more of those out this year. I just have to find more of like a flow, but I just have to kind of do like this weird shit. It's so hard. Especially it's like if you get out of the groove for just like a little bit, and then you're just like,
right.
And I want to do
this, but I don't want to do this.
Like, it's nice. Like, I think having a breather is nice.
I feel like it's always like the end product is my favorite part, because then it's like I'm done. It's always like weirded me out when people are like, oh, I don't like to hit like the send button because that means it's over and I get depressed. It's like, that's my favorite part, is just
send that motherfucker off.
Done.
I will never see it again.
People should look at this thing I made.
Yeah. Like, I want people to see it, but it's like once I do it, it's just kind of like,
yeah,
I'll watch it like twice to make sure it's what I wanted, and then I will never ever watch it again.
It's nice to create that detachment after a while. I was just thinking about this. Don't You Mess with the Zohan? Was that almost basically like a porn parody of Edward Scissorhands? Because the plot is near identical.
I haven't seen it.
thought of that movie. It's basically the same thing. It's just like he's a haircut guy and he's only cutting the hair of like rich older women and he just fucks them all. Like that's the movie.
I feel like that was a movie that really, obviously didn't tank his career, but that was the movie that I feel
that was a sign of the times to come.
Yes, because like Adam Sandler movies were kind of, iffy for a little bit, but that one was like, I think unanimously people were like, all right, man, we get
this has gone far enough.
Do a
and
funny
then
voice
further.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when South Park was kind of making fun of it, like that episode where Stan thought everything was shit. Adam Sandler is fuck you, because
that was a great episode.
Yeah, that was. It was like kind of like that was around. Well, actually, that was probably a little after that. It was. But now Adam can like do like these stupid fuck you Netflix movies. Like he could do Uncut Gems, but then he could do like those. What's that Halloween one that he did? That was just so
Hubie Halloween.
That was so bad.
I didn't see that.
I wasn't about to.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I just I knew because that was his whole pitch was like, oh, if Uncut Gems, if I don't win an Oscar, I'm going to make the worst movie ever. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, I just don't need to see it.
Yeah, that was a threat.
I don't need to see it. I believe you.
He's making good on it. Yeah.
Whatever.
Good Lord. But speaking of YouTube, though, we have a YouTube channel of our own, youtube.com/ThoughtCops. We to put up all the video versions of the episodes. And sorry for last episode, something got screwed up. But normally...
Yeah, the video episodes aren't always a guarantee, but they're nice to have. So.
This is the Riverside era. It does help a lot.
It's been 4 years of no video, so just whatever. Bear with us.
You know what? Speaking of that, but we've been doing video for a while, but we've pretty much hit 5 years of doing the show. And I also want to give a shout out to Mimi Yori.
Oh yeah, let me
for her incredible artwork that we commissioned her for it because she's done a lot of great work with Asterios and Sarancha and everything like that. And I was like, can you draw this very specific detailed piece of artwork in the style of Seth MacFarlane? Which Grant is pulling up here.
I'm finding it. It's somewhere.
We post a lot on Twitter, don't we, Grant?
We really do.
So yeah, we'll pull that up here. Any second now.
If we were on terrestrial radio right now, we'd be shot in the head. There it is.
Awesome. Look at that. How great is that? And you know what? I wanted to have it be something that, not just celebrates the show and the content, but also like the community and stuff. We had a lot of little Easter eggs and people frequent guests of the show and everything like that. And just this, little something to be like, hey, we've been doing this for 5 years. We're going to keep doing it. Have fun looking at this piece of art.
There's more and more Easter eggs the longer you look at it. Here's an idea. Tag yourself.
I'm Zwick. No, I'm me, actually.
I'm me also.
Yeah. And I want to say, we're all kind of, not all of us, but the people inside, we're all dressed Family Guy. We're just as Family Guy characters. And I know that someone pointed out that Asterios dressed as Quagmire was genius. So thank you for that. But yeah, go shout out to Mimi Yori. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram.
And everywhere else you can find
we'll link to it in the episode description, basically. And by that note, I also want to mention that in the episode description, we have a link to our Discord community. It's a wonderful, thriving community where fans of the show can talk about all sorts of topics that I guess I would also describe, Jen, as weird, real, and sick. And a lot of stuff in between, too.
Right, yeah.
So check that out. Thought Cops Discord. Maybe one day we'll have a Discord news again. Not today. Maybe one day. But let's move on to a very famous, very favorite segment of the show called 2 Minutes of Hate, where we like to blanket punish all that annoying random crap that we see on our phones and computer screens every single day of the week. Now, I feel that when I have been bringing in my 2 minutes of hate for a while now, that they have been... How do you say? I feel like they've been sort of repetitive. It's me complaining about
a Twitter trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And today I'm going to bring in something that's been bothering me for a lot longer than I wouldn't say longer than Twitter's existed, but longer than I've been actively using it, at least, is TV smoothing. Are you familiar with this, Jen? Where you go to someone or you're watching TV, like typically, now this is what really freaking gets under my skin, is that when you get a nice fancy new TV and they have that setting on it.
Oh God.
That makes it look like they think it makes it look better, but
yeah,
it looks like freaking crap. They make it looks like they're like, oh, here's a beautiful movie, you know, it's shot on film, and then this TV, you know, LG is like, well, we put a setting on it so it looks like the fucking like local news. You know what I'm talking about, though, where they kind of have that like, weird frame rate kind of thing, but it's like not even natural. So it just like it looks so bizarre.
I wish I could describe how that makes me feel, because there's a certain feeling you get when you watch it that makes you uncomfortable. And I don't know what it is.
I think it's like there is this sort of divide between, you know, I think the reason that people are able to like suspend their disbelief when watching a movie or a TV show is because it kind of registers in your brain visually as this is like a, you know, it's a movie or TV show. But I remember, you know, for example, like they shot The Hobbit in that weird extra FPS thing, and it just did not look right. And then this kind of, you know,
it like makes you it like makes you feel like you're in the room with them, like you can see like the distance between things and like a very weird surreal sort of
thing. It looks
thing
too much like a set.
It looks so much like a set that it looks completely fake. Like, so, I don't know how to describe it better. It like breaks my brain every time I fucking look at it.
Now, here's my other issue going further into the matter is, so, you know, when I get a new TV, first thing I do, I look for that shit and I turn it off because I hate it. But I try to think of myself as, you know, I try my best to be polite and cordial in social settings, but sometimes you go to someone's house to say, hey, come over, we're going to watch this movie, we're going to watch this TV show, and you sit down, you're excited to watch it, and they have the setting on their TV, and then it's like, I'm not going to be the freak who asks them, like, hey, can you turn that off? Because half the time they don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
And then
you're like, bruh, this is just normal.
Yeah, like sometimes
this is
like
just what reality looks like. I don't know what you're talking
well, like
about.
sometimes like it's like you know, I've had like aunts or uncles who have this, and they kind of say something like, oh, I got this new TV, and like I guess it kind of makes things look a little weird, and they don't exactly know why, because they're not familiar with the fact that this setting is put on in default when you get a TV, most TVs at least. But like I went over to watch a TV show with some friends recently, and
what show?
Well, okay.
Family Guy?
No. I was going to say this didn't really hamper the experience, but because it was the Cowboy Bebop Netflix show, it's already bad enough. But you know, that was the one thing. But I didn't want to be like, because that setting was on the whole time, and I didn't want to be like, hey, do you mind if I fiddle around and like look through like, okay, I have to like hit your set, like, oh, it's not in general, maybe it's under video and stuff. Very like it feels like I'm living in a fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm episode if I were to do something like that. So I try to put it out of my mind, but I studied like film and broadcasting in college. I'm really into movies and stuff. So it's very, very hard for me to ignore. And I think the only solution, I mean, I would say the easy one is for companies, you know, TV manufacturers to not put this thing on by default, but also I guess that reality should have a setting on it so it looks like a film. So that way, everything would just look, you know, I'm sitting here.
That's what the metaverse is going to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's going to be great.
The metaverse looks a little bit more like a Xbox Live.
It's gonna look like whatever you want it to look like.
Yeah.
It's going to be just.
I mean, that sounds incredible.
I'm so excited.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 minutes of hate and my punishment. But Jen, anything you'd like to get off your chest? Anything bugging you see out there, and you're like, I gotta get this out there. I gotta say it.
Actually, like I do, because there was like a tweet that was going around either yesterday or the day before about that girl talking about she doesn't like to see men cry.
I remember that.
Did you see that? Okay,
Yeah.
so she's saying, I really don't think men should cry in front of like a potential partner. And then she added on some like onto this. It was a long thread. Like it was probably like at least like a dozen tweets long. And she said something about you can't do it like on the first date. Like,
well, I mean,
what? Okay, but like,
know.
what first dates has she been on where there's some dude like breaking down and crying? What is she actually even talking about?
Yeah, like if this is a trend, like maybe it's not the man's fault.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be.
Maybe you're a bully.
Stop making them cry.
It goes into like the men are trash thing, you know. Like I think it kind of
Right.
goes like hand in hand with men are trash. It's like, you know, when do you maybe step back and think, you know what? Maybe I'm the problem here. Maybe it's me, you know? But this is just like, you know, I'm seeing the pendulum swing from men shouldn't cry to a man has zero effect on his attractiveness.
That's a good way to put it, Jen, because like we go through this thing where it's like we went through like, you know, men should be these, you know, rough and tumble, you know, just go, you know, they have to be just like they go to work, they do this, they, you know, whatever, provide for their family. And then we're like, okay, maybe that, you know, we are human beings, we have emotions, we have, you know, depth and stuff. And then we understand that, like, you know, it's okay to show emotion and stuff. And now, it's kind of going the other way. We're like, now, I guess this woman in particular is saying that, oh no, it's actually unattractive, so maybe they shouldn't. But she's like also, because I saw the same tweet thread, and it kind of read to me like she was trying to also be like progressive too. Like she was kind of trying to have her cake and eat it too, where she's like, well, yeah, I understand like why, you know, people should have emotions, but like also I just wish they wouldn't do it in front of me because it's unattractive, and also I don't want to know about it happening. And it's like,
it also reminds me of like the ordering dessert as a feminine trait.
Oh right.
Oh yeah. It's the gender swapped version of that.
Well, you guys aren't allowed to get like an ice cream or shit. They don't want some real vivid cake after they're done eating. What's wrong with that? You know,
right.
Gonna have a tart and a cry after dinner,
or even the ones that are
then,
like
if a guy is too hard, they're gonna complain that they're too hard, and they're not like they don't care about my emotions. So which is it? You want them to be a human being, or do you not want them to be a human being?
Yeah, I just want to be with like a guy who's sensitive, and then she's like, men shouldn't cry.
And it's
I
also
just want
like
to be with a guy who's totally unrealistic and doesn't exist.
Right. I want a Ken doll.
Pretty much
smooth and all down there.
Smooth and all. No penis.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There's no testosterone down there at all.
Right.
Actually,
so that means Ken would cry though.
I was gonna say, Jen, if you don't have, I don't know if you already had a punishment in mind for this or not, but I was gonna say that could be a good one as well. Like, did you have anything in mind you wanted to kind of go off of, or?
That's good. Basically, if you're going to complain about that, then you get a sexless Ken doll.
Yes.
That's what you get to date. You get a sexless Ken doll who does nothing but eat dessert.
Eats dessert, he cries, and he like just nothing going. It just there no holes at all, no except for the I guess the
just
ones you can
poker
see on the face.
Like that's how he lives his life. You want that, then you go for it.
And maybe he could be, like you said, he could be faceless as well, just because it's like, you know, he's got nothing going on down there, but also he's got nothing going on up here too.
He should be the NPC.
He could just have like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not like just like an NPC, just maybe just one of those. You ever see those people that you just look at their face and you're like, there's nothing. It's just kind of boring. Like it's just kind of a face. There's nothing going on. That's what it is. Like it's not that they're ugly or it's not that they're attractive or anything. It's just like it's just nothing.
They're
so that's
forgettable.
what they
You get no response. It's an uncanny valley.
Yeah, that's what they get. That's their punishment. That's how it's going to go down.
That is fair and just. Grant, what do you got for us?
Let me look at the list here because I don't know.
We got some heat here.
It's hard coming up with some of this shit sometimes because it's like I don't know what am I mad about this week?
Let me tell your audience how you do this. Like I'm gonna steal this because they sent me a Google Doc with like how they format everything, and I think that's balls amazing because sometimes it's like guests don't know what they're gonna come into. Like even if they listen, sometimes it's hard to like gauge kind of where you're at when you're sitting like on the other side. Mm-hmm. So. They have good ideas, and I'm going to steal it. So
Go for it. Not copyrighted.
Making the podcast world a greater place.
That's what you're doing. There you go.
But like usual, I'm actually going to skip the list of pre-programmed 2 minutes
Don't
of
tell me
hates.
you're about to piggyback off something.
No, I'm not going to piggyback. This is a new problem, and I feel like this may be something that
Ooh, new problem just dropped.
I think that this might be something that probably I haven't talked too much about on the show before, because I feel like there's like no intersectionality between these things. Like in my head, the phenomenon of this existence has always baffled and bewildered me, and it is fitness content online that is made to be comedic.
What?
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I've never I love a good gym fail video. I love people tripping and falling over equipment or snapping their knees backwards on a leg press. Haha, LOL. Everybody loves watching someone make an asshole out of themselves. We've all seen it. We all love it. But people that do like skits about being in it's like one of the least funny forms of comedy I feel like I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I always hate it. There's people that, because I am into fitness in both a hobby sense and a professional sense, that people send me things that are like, what the one guy that's like Dom something, and he does like the gym bro life videos or whatever, and it's always skits about how like, oh, you skip leg day, blah 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 blah, and it's just like not funny. It's never been funny. I've never thought any of these things are funny.
Fucking meatheads.
Like, make fun of meatheads. That's a funny thing. Like, there's enough stupid people out in the world that you can just point at them and just go, yeah, just show the source footage of people being stupid. You can make fun of that all day long, but like,
it sounds forced. I think that's the thing.
Or like, God, there was the one that was like, a long time ago, a couple of years ago, there was one that was like, it was a nature show documentary about people in the gym, and they were like making animal noises and stuff that. And it's like, oh, the gym bros walk up to the females and beat their chests or whatever. And it's just like, this is terrible. This isn't good. When we talk about the democratization of content and how it's going to make everything better because people are on their phones all the time and we don't want to fucking watch Jimmy Kimmel Live because it's garbage. Like, this is not the alternative. Is at least Jimmy Kimmel Live has segments and like it's regulated, and this is like unfunny.
We've gone full circle. Now we're defending Jimmy Kimmel. We've been shitting on that for so long, and now we're like, because we've been saying, you know, people should make independent content, yada yada yada. And now we're like, there's too much independent content,
and I just don't,
much of it bad.
I don't get it. Maybe it's because I'm so like entrenched in both the comedy and the lifting world that it's just like, if I watch a video on lifting, I want to learn something from it. I don't get anything out of like this whole like culture shit of like people. It's just like, just go to the gym, pop in headphones, do whatever you have to do, get the fuck out, and stop talking about it. It's not interesting.
Do you ever find that your clients like send you videos like this and they think that you would find it funny? Okay,
no,
that would be fucking terrible.
Yeah. It would be.
So what's your punishment?
I don't like, just take, I feel like this has been a punishment in the past, but like take like an improv class.
That's a good one.
Or not even take an improv class, but like
do an open mic.
Like seriously, go all the shit that you think is in your head that is so funny, go in front of a room full of people and tell your jokes and see how flat you land on your fucking face immediately. Because it's just like, it's not funny. It doesn't work. I don't get it. It's never made sense to me.
I mean, I'm sad to say
I've never lolled. I've never laughed out loud at any of these videos.
Are these popular though? Is that the thing? Like,
oh, they're insanely popular.
Well,
I mean, there's videos with like tens of millions of views. We
got to stop reinforcing this bad behavior.
Like, I know that like JP Sears is like a guy that's like now become like a weird political guy, but he started off doing like weird, making fun of like, oh, functional fitness videos or whatever. That video has like 10 million views. People think it's hilarious. It's garbage. It's terrible.
Sounds like crap.
I don't get it.
But yeah, I agree with you. They should get up and do a tight five. Something.
Yeah. You think you're so fucking funny?
Yeah, get up there, smart ass. But let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the show. So if this is your first time here, if you haven't listened to Thought Cops before, every week we investigate the internet's outrage-inducing news stories and then sentence each perpetrator to a cruel and often quite unusual punishment. Now, okay, I want to talk about this. We're Jen, you're a podcaster. We're podcasters. And I tend to be a little bit sensitive to people moving in our territory.
What are you going to cry? What are you going to
Yeah, I might.
shit?
And I might order a fucking dessert, too.
All right. And
like we've talked about this before. Remember when Conan O'Brien started this podcast? And, we both love Conan. We love what he does. We love his show. But it felt like, why can't I think of the fucking word? I don't know. I'll come to it. I'll come back to it later. But now,
like they're encroaching on your territory.
What are gentrifying? That's the word I was trying.
Okay,
which I was like, maybe that's a little bit of a loaded term to use here.
Your plight as a podcaster is that of a minority in a large urban environment. I
never said they were the same
being monetarily
or on equal level. They are just of. I'm just going to shut up about that part. I want to move on. So there's a new type of podcast now apparently. So. As we know, superhero movies, they dominate our culture. They're, Jen, you've probably seen there's a million fucking there's all the Marvel movies, there's the DC movies. Now we got Marvel shows, we got DC shows, and if you see Grant's pulled it up here, now there's superhero podcasts. There's cape shit podcasts now.
Why? Why does anyone actually need this? Okay, so they're just gonna strictly sit there and talk about what? How a movie ended, what's coming up next?
I think so.
I don't get it.
It's not when I first saw this, it was okay. So my first reaction was I thought it was going to be an in-universe podcast.
Wait, so what is it?
Technically, it's more of like a Talking Dead or Talking Bad kind of thing. So it's like, it's like the kind of all those shows that kind of went away when Chris Hardwick went away. What the hell happened to that guy?
Yeah,
rest in peace.
But it's that kind of thing too. So I guess it's coming from Rooster Teeth. So though this is based, so it's a podcast based on.
It's based. It's based on red pilled.
Based on what? Well, I'll answer that question right now.
Oh lordy.
So this is based on HBO Max's show Peacemaker, which is based on the movie The Suicide Squad,
which is
a remake of the movie Suicide Squad,
God.
Which is a movie set in the DC cinematic universe. That is too many fucking steps.
Yeah.
And I guess I was reading this a bit more. Apparently, there are a couple other podcasts Rooster Teeth has put out like this. And I'm not talking shit on Rooster Teeth. We have some people who are involved with them, so I'm going to say hi, guys. We're not your enemies.
Names.
I'll tell you later. So there, it's just I guess it's kind of more of a recap thing of what happened on the latest episode of Peacemaker.
Just watch the fucking show. That's my favorite thing about this is that people are already making these types of podcasts, and they're doing it largely for free to audiences that don't listen. And that HBO is just like, hey, we'll just throw a couple $1 million at some fucking podcast, and we'll just
push
blow
them out
all
of
these
town. They're
fucking
gentrifying
losers out of the water.
I'm telling you, man, this is gentrification at its absolute worst.
This is bad.
Yeah. Like I said, we got enough of this kind of crap out there, and now we have to deal with it with the world of podcasting. Apparently.
I mean, is it just soy jacking out? Wowza!
I believe so. And again, it wasn't when I read it, it wasn't what I thought at first it was, because like I said, at first I kind of maybe I wanted to believe a little bit that, because sometimes you want something to be as extreme as possible, so you can be like, oh, isn't that crazy? Because I thought it was going to be maybe there's like some side characters in the TV show who like they do a podcast and they talk about the other characters on the show. I mean, that would be bad. And thankfully it's not that, but I don't feel like we're very far off from that. Like I could see them doing something like that with like Spider-Man or something, but
you know what bothers?
I don't want to put that out in the ether, but
you know what bothers me is when things like that do become canon, and I feel like that's become more and more sort of like the norm of like, not only do we have the Marvel movies, we have the Marvel TV shows, and then it's going to be like, what's next? The comic books that are based on the TV shows that are based on the movies. Like, oh, look, you go buy a comic book. It's Tom Holland's Spider-Man, the comic book. And it's just like, man, please stop. But I remember when there was like a year or two when I was trying to get into Doctor Who before it became cringe and Tumblr ruined it.
You spent 2 years trying to get into it?
Yeah, because it was like, it's good and it's interesting. And it was like a show that's been on for like 60 years at this point. And so you're like, oh, what should I watch? What's good? What's not? And like, there'd be all these nerds that had come out of the woodwork and be like, oh, did you read like the audiobooks? Like, these are all canon. Yeah. And it's just like, man, this is too much. I'm not doing fucking homework. Just what's good to watch? What's good content?
That's like Star Wars as well. Oh, you got the books, you got the movies, you got the comic books, and it's like you got the tie-in Fortnite event, which was canon for the last movie. You had to have played the fucking limited time Fortnite event to understand why the last Star Wars movie started the way it did. And that is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever...
It's too much work. Can't I just watch a movie? What happened to just watching a movie?
Yeah, for real. Like, I want to watch a self-contained 90-minute movie, and I'm going to go home, I'm going to think about the movie, I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to wake up, and then I'm just done thinking about the movie. And I don't have to fucking...
I have to do all this work.
Right.
You're going to make me read? You're going to make me read before I watch a movie? Like, fuck you.
I'm seeing a movie because I don't want to read. I'm watching the movie based on the book because I didn't read the fucking book.
Exactly. Oh, God. It's just, I think it's just, obviously it's like, it's the quest for more money at the end of the day. But like, but if they're going to start zoning in on like podcasts, I mean, they're going to try. And I mean, they could succeed with that. But it's just kind of like, at this point, I think everybody I know has a podcast.
Mm-hmm. And so now the superheroes do too, I guess.
And now they're like, now cape shit's like coming in, and they're like,
I do have a good punishment though, or at least I think it's good.
Yeah,
I think that once we're all sick of superhero movies, because it's going to happen. I hope. I don't hate these movies. I'm just fatigued. I think as many probably.
I've been fatigued since like the first Avengers movie came out. I like just didn't watch it. I was just like, no, there's too many of these. And then they just like kept making more, and it's like I can't even catch up anymore. Like when you just watch Spider-Man because I know that that's a guy.
The upcoming list of movies for the year, it's like there's like 30 of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say we're all going to get tired of this at some point, and we instead Hollywood's going to shift their focus to making movies about podcasts. We're going to have the podcast cinematic universe. You know how Iron Man kicked off the MCU?
Yeah.
There's going to be like a Cumtown movie. It's going to kick off the PCU.
I want to see
maybe like a Mark Maron thing. Like they kind of have to go back to the roots of like
it's going to be
the old ones.
It's going to be like Joe Rogan, the movie.
Never mind.
The Joe Rogan Experience movie.
I take it all back.
It's going to be like his war against like the PC police that canceled him into $100 million with Spotify. I mean, that type of...
I don't know, Grant.
It could happen because Howard Stern had a movie in the 90s.
That's true.
Which was great.
How do you make a movie about Howard Stern and his radio show? Well, they did it. So, I mean, anything could happen at this point. That's not...
No joke. That's one of my favorite movies. Like,
it's good. Private Parts is good.
But it's like, it's very, very surprisingly good.
Yeah, because it's like a biopic where it's just focused on his career.
It's like weirdly heartwarming, and I think people like didn't know that about Howard Stern. They were just like, "Oh, this guy's a dick," and it's like, yeah, but he's like kind of a nice guy, kind of.
It's the shtick, It's just kind of like
the old shtick.
Yeah, it's the shtick.
Which one do you want to jump to next here, Grant?
Let me pull up this fresh young doc.
Let's do that one, yeah.
Ooh. The Oscars?
Yeah, so the Oscars are coming up.
Did you hear who they're going to get to host? that who they want to get to host this year, who they're whispering?
Well, I've heard some rumors because, I want to start off. We'll introduce by saying that there was this article posted recently where this is just an insane headline. It just reads, ABC just announced that the Oscars will have a host. Don't they have one every fucking year?
No, that was a big thing.
Did they not have one last year?
No, they didn't.
Oh,
that was why.
Wait, they didn't have a host last year?
No, they just had people come up and present, and nobody hosted. And actually,
why don't they just do that? Who needs a host?
That's literally what everyone said after.
Weren't their ratings they've been consistently dipping further and further over time?
Yeah, because nobody cares. Everybody wants to watch the movie. They don't want to watch people fucking talk about the movie, HBO Max, a subsidiary of whatever. But from everything that I've heard of people that did watch it, they were like, yeah, actually, it was better without a host. That's what everybody said. It's just what does it matter? You just have a bunch of rich, famous people walk up and give other rich, famous people awards.
No. Jen, I am curious though. Who are they tapping for this? Who have you heard? What are the rumors out there in California?
There's the rumor that they're trying to get Pete Davidson. We cannot escape him. There is no escaping this man. He is everywhere. He is unfunny and everywhere.
I'm convinced he's not even real. He feels like a figment of my imagination, this goblin that's on my shoulder. It's just one of those fantasy stories about those things that attach to your head and they're warping your view of reality. It's just he doesn't exist, but he's just some parasite that lives in my head.
I honestly think the thing is, it's a decade from now, everybody's going to go, you know what happened? What's that guy? Who's the butthole eyes guy that was dating everybody that was really not funny on SNL? Pete Davidson. What happened to that guy? I think that's going to be 10 years from now.
Oh yeah, he low key fell off, and I'll be yeah, good.
Or he'll be the next host of the Tonight Show.
Oh man,
it's going to be one of the.
That would be
Grant. I think you're right.
Horrible. That would be horrible.
He's like a cockroach.
That would be awful.
China's going to nuclear bomb us, and Pete Davidson's still going to be hosting.
He's going to come out crawling.
He's going to just skitter scatter.
Okay, guys.
There's a possibility. Okay, that was a really good impression because that's what actually.
That was off the cuff. I've never tried to do an impression of Pete Davidson before.
It works
because he does have sort of
he did
he's always hunched over. He's always like this.
He
talks like this. It's just what's wrong with your voice and your body?
Every clip from SNL I see that he's in, it just he's not every character. It's that's just Pete Davidson.
He
doesn't even fucking try.
He's solely responsible for Dan Crenshaw's political career. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I have a good punishment for this. We said last year, no hosts. We were fine with that. That was okay. Nobody's watching the Oscars anymore. That's fine. I say they just publish a listicle. Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor.
The Oscars by BuzzFeed.
Exactly. Yeah, BuzzFeed or whoever the fuck. They just put it out, and it's they'll call it something 5 times the one actor who won the supporting role of the year, and it's goes to fucking Denzel Washington or whoever.
You won't believe number 9.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You want to do? Got time for maybe one more?
Yeah. So
we got some good ones. You want to
this one. Okay. We all know Mike Lindell, right? I hate to get political on this show. Mm-hmm. He is somehow the MyPillow guy is a political figure, and boy, do people have shut the fuck up. Okay. So he is a political figure. We all know him. We all love him.
Guy with the pillows, the big cross around the neck, the blue shirt,
former cocaine addict. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. I mean, I'm in favor of rehabilitation.
Yes.
He's a very weird guy. He had this thing where I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not. Again, we try not to get political, but like he
as we might.
He had like all these files that were like, proof of voter fraud, and it was just like a list of names that played behind him that like he didn't even pause. They just like flew down the list, and it's just like this is just like a list of people's names. Like this isn't anything. Like
that sounds like a Simpsons bit. Like I think they did that once for like
like when they were like damn it, what was that episode?
It was like a news thing.
This is all the things that we've gotten wrong, and these are all of our retractions. And it's like, yeah.
So he says that he has evidence that 300 million people committed voter fraud, and that's enough to put everyone in prison for the rest of their lives.
Are you guys scared?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm worried. I don't want. I mean, I'm not saying I did it, but if I did do it, I think that Mike Lindell, he's gonna put me behind bars. What was the exact phrasing that he used in here, Grant? There was like some very specific. What was he? He promises to throw people in jail until they die.
300, and like the funny thing is the 300 million number, which is nearly everybody. What's funnier is that like 300 million people definitely did not vote in the last election. Like nobody's like, it's just like a weird thing where everyone like woke up and opened Twitter and saw the MyPillow guy wants to put 300 million people in prison for the rest of their lives.
You know how people complain about like comedians doing politics? Why don't you, hey, shut up and be funny. Hey, this is my advice to Mike Lindell. Hey, shut up and give me a pillow. Why don't you, hey, shut up and fluff my pillow.
That sounds racy, to say the least.
Kind of does.
Kind of like the shut up and dribble, but for yeah.
Shut up
for Mike
I think
Lindell.
It's the word fluff that does it.
Yeah.
Because I like to imagine that he's the guy who sells the pillows, and he also comes to your house and fluffs your pillow for you before you go to sleep.
I'd heard that he admitted that he was fluffing pillows to pay for all the cocaine that was disappearing up his nose.
Oh,
nice.
Dark past.
Yeah. The guy called himself like a crackhead. Like this isn't news to anybody. He calls, he's like, yeah, I was a crackhead.
Oh, so wait, crack or cocaine or crack cocaine?
They're the same drug.
I don't even know. I don't think they are. Crack and cocaine are not the same.
No, they are the same drug.
Not. No, they're not. They're different.
I mean, one is cut with baking soda so that it sticks together into a rock, but it is the same chemical compound.
Is it really?
I don't know. I don't do it.
See, that was the thing with the That was the thing with the I paid attention in DARE class. That was the thing.
You did your homework.
With the disparity between cocaine and crack sentencing, like in the 90s, was that this is a fun little historical lecture I get to take everybody on. A nice little ride through history and throwing minorities in prison for the same chemical substance that rich white people were doing. So it's mostly the same, but if you turn it into a little rock, you don't have to buy a little tiny baggie. That's it. I
got a punishment.
Yeah.
This guy loves his getting his rocks off and smoking rocks. I say we fill his pillow with rocks. He has to sleep on the pillow full of rocks every night.
All right.
Because he's lying. He doesn't have this fucking information. Mm-hmm. I think he's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, you believe him, Grant?
I don't. I'm just asking questions.
I think that you just don't want to get you don't want to have him get you. You know.
I don't want to go to the gulag.
I don't blame you.
He doesn't want him to not come to his house anymore and not fluff up his MyPillow.
Yeah.
He's not trying to burn that bridge.
They're expensive.
Are they really?
I don't know.
How much are they?
I don't even know what is the difference between a pillow and a MyPillow.
Well, it's a brand.
Okay, so like But like,
It's
what
his brand.
What
sets
separates
them
a
apart?
pillow from a MyPillow? What makes
It's
it a
just-
MyPillow?
It's a good pillow. I don't know. A pillow.
He does the fucking Tom from MySpace thing.
Oh.
I want to see someone do that. You know, and it's good.
So each MyPillow premium is $80 for a standard / queen, and $90 for a king. So the difference is the price.
Now, I haven't bought a pillow in a while. Yes, I do sleep. You know, what's that stereotype of the if a man's got the yellow pillow or whatever. Yeah, my pillows are a little yellow. Okay, so sue me. But I haven't bought a new pillow in a while, and that sounds expensive for a pillow, but I also don't know if it is or not. And when's the last time you bought a pillow, Jen?
It better be probably like 2 months ago.
Okay, so I mean, does that sound reasonable to you? $80
for something like $80. That better be like a Tempur-Pedic pillow, like gel Tempur-Pedic. You know, 'cause
memory
you can go
foam.
and get one from Target for like $30. Like if it's not one of those, so yeah, that's pretty overpriced. Unless that is like a Tempur-Pedic pillow, then it's ripping. Then he's ripping us off blind.
I just saw in the chat here dramatically says, I'm glad Grant was there to explain the difference between crack and cocaine. That is good. Otherwise,
I know I wouldn't have known. I actually learned something today, so I'm glad for that.
Today I learned something.
What did we call the podcast the one time? It's not edutainment. It's entermation.
Entermation, yeah. Entermation. Let's move on to something positive, something nice, something swell. Thought Cops Key to the City. We're giving out the key to Neo Chicago, to something nice we saw this week. And my key to the city goes to Mind of Jason, well, specifically his Letterboxd page. Now, I know people, you know, loyal listeners of the show may be like, hey, Kevin, I thought you were shitting on that website a few weeks ago. And yeah, you're right, I was. But this changed my mind because I no longer believe that nobody else should use the website besides Mind of Jason.
Do I have the right profile?
Well, I want to say, I got them pulled up on my phone. I'll just read them real quick. But I want to say that nobody should review movies anymore besides Mind of Jason. Red Letter Media is canceled.
Have we talked about Mind of Jason on the podcast before?
I have given him my key to the city, but it's been a while.
Right.
He is. I mean, if you don't know who he is, just look him up. He
just does their memes, but they're things that he would say. Like, it's not like, you know how the whole thing with when
he
you
uses
create
his picture for all of his memes. It's him like doing a face, and it's like he's got the text over it. He's got the watermark and everything.
Like the traditional meme experience, I feel like if we go back to like the advice animals on Reddit, like that format of just like you post a picture, top text, bottom text, it's supposed to be relatable. Mind of Jason's memes are picture of his face and then only something he would say or think. It's not supposed to be a universal experience.
Right,
it's just like his opinion that you're supposed to assume is universal.
It's like a deep fried selfie of him. And it says like, if you don't cook me steak for dinner when I come over, and then the bottom text like, I'm stealing something out your house or something. But anyway, it stands to reason that a guy like that does have the greatest opinions on movies and cinema at large. And Nico in the Discord was posting some of these off his Letterboxd recently. So I just want to read some highlights here. So he reviewed Sing and Sing 2. He said Sing was a feel-good musical, a lot of great musical hits and pretty runny. I think he meant funny. He said IDK, why I had not seen this. Sing 2, he says new songs and shit. New characters didn't get boring. Right now, sometimes a motherfucker want to listen to music while a movie is playing. This did that.
All right.
2020. I guess there was a movie called 2020 and Done with Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart, and he said, "Maine, if you don't grab your friends, have some drinks, and get high as fuck, and laugh about how fucking insane 2021 was," and this is followed by like 5 emojis, like crying, laughing emojis. Right. It says, my first 5-star review, and I'm not even 15 minutes in. This is real life.
Great.
And he reviewed this other movie called The Hating Game. He says, same old romantic comedy. Watching it because Lucy Hale got some hashtag DSL. He says, hashtag meh. Same shit. Oh, also her character, her charter, a straight hoe. Second time trying to watch, just waiting time. This is kind of hard to read a little bit. Just wasting time at work. Really, why am I finishing? You can tell it ain't shit when I review it before it ends. And then he says, OMFG, the corniest fucking lines ever. Quote, your lips taste like candy. And he says, this N-word gay. So yeah, Mind of Jason, Jason's reviews. And for the record, that's Jason without the A, Jason. Mind of Jason. And guess what? It can only come out of a mind of a guy as twisted as him.
I can't even tell you.
Jen, anything you want to share with us? Something nice, something cool, something swell, key to the city?
I just, I'm sorry, I'm a little brain fried right now.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Because I've been at work all day and now I'm just like, no,
I read those reviews and like I felt my brain like breaking in real time.
Yeah.
I think it's just like there's just some movies I feel like it's just, why do they keep, I mean, I guess Sing made a lot of money. Yep. I guess that's why they kept it going. I mean,
that sounds about right.
They're just gonna like keep, I think it's just that whole like, I don't want to say American Idol. Is that even on anymore? Isn't there like something else? I mean, I think that's just kind of what they're trying to like keep appealing to, because I
talked about this a couple episodes ago, but there's like a show on, I think like ABC or something like that, and it's like Grimes is one of the judges, and it's like American Idol, except they have like avatars that look like World of Warcraft characters.
So the metaverse, basically.
And it's called I think just Alter Ego is the name of the show, and it's like the worst singing competition I think I've ever seen. It's hilariously bad.
Awful. Yeah, train wreck. I like to watch train wrecks.
Go watch it. It's worth one watch, I think, just to be like, dude, what the fuck were they thinking?
Did you have anything positive, Jen? Any train wrecks you want to be like, hey, this was so bad it was good to watch or whatever? Anything?
Train wrecks that it was so. You know what? Going back to what you were saying earlier about watching certain things on a TV, that's like, you ever go back and watch something on 4K? That was made like a decade
restored ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was watching Dawn of the Dead last night, which I think of it fondly because it's just like, it was early 2000s. We weren't like oversaturated with zombie movies, and it was actually it was good for its time. But now when you go back and watch it, you're just like, there's so many things they could have done differently. Mm-hmm. And then when you're watching it kind of like in 4K, it's a little bit weird, but it made me appreciate a little bit more of the simpler times back then, before we just had too many of everything. And
I feel that pretty hard.
Yeah.
And what happened to Mekhi Phifer? What happened to him? He was in that movie and he was everywhere in the 2000s, and now he's just gone. Like he did 8 Mile and then he dips. Like, what happened?
There's a number of like stars who just like straight up low key fell off.
Dude, it's crazy like watching an old movie like that and then like seeing like like particularly actresses and just being like, oh yeah, what happened to this actress that was in I don't know, like Michelle and Romy's high school reunion. I just watched that the other day.
It's a good movie.
The other day, like 3 months ago. And then you read like the Wikipedia page and it's just like, oh yeah, the one actress that was Lisa Kudrow's friend, I can't remember her name, like just got Harvey Weinstein, just disappeared off the face of the planet. And it's like, I didn't realize like how big, like just thousands of people, like you just stop seeing them and you're just like, oh, what happened to this person? And it's like, oh yeah, they just got like blacklisted out of nowhere. Like,
wow.
On that note, Grant, if you could bring the mood up for us.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot that's this part. My key to the city goes to one of the greats of
friend of the show, one of the greats of video game making, one of the best video game companies you could say ever. Not quite the best, but they're up there. They're like third, maybe fourth, maybe fifth place, but that's still, there's a lot of companies out there.
Sega. Ding. Sega promises to avoid NFTs if gamers think they're greedy. If it is perceived as being simple money making, I would like to make a decision not to proceed. And then it's a picture of Sonic giving a thumbs up.
Good for them.
Key to the city goes to Sega.
Now, that was in response specifically because Konami announced that there was going to be Castlevania NFTs.
Yeah.
And that was like received so much backlash. And then Sega's like, they're probably like, a lot of our games are like not very good lately. But what if we just said NFTs were bad? Everybody's like, yay! Which, I agree. I would rather... I wonder if they did like see that happen and then they slowly like kicked the Sonic NFTs like back behind the door. Like, oh, you didn't see that. By the way, we're never doing that if only if you guys don't like it.
Hey, if Sonic Mania 2 is on the way, I don't care.
You do it. Yeah, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
As long as his arms are not blue.
Oh God. Then we have a bigger problem on our hands.
If his arms are blue, then like there's going to be problems.
I got one here, Grant. If you want to pull up that. So this week's Thought Cop's word of the week is consumerpunk.
This one?
Yeah. So this actually comes, we'll pull up a tweet here on the screen. This actually comes from a Sonic YouTuber, actually. Cybershell posted this on Twitter. He says, I know it's a long shot, but if anyone out there has one of these rare Avatar McDonald's hats from 2009, I'd love to buy it from you. These things are peak consumer punk. Now, this is a picture of the movie Avatar from that 2009 James Cameron, and just a hat that says it's the Avatar font, Avatar only in theaters, and the McDonald's logo.
It's kind of cool though.
Consumer punk, because everything's punk. Or
I feel like they're missing the point of the word punk in that word, but that's fine.
Punk culture is, I guess, inherently anti-consumer, but.
Yeah.
You basically just have to add like punk or core to the end of something, and that's just like a thing now. You know?
Yeah.
Grant core, Kevin Punk, stuff like that.
You were making fun of in the Discord, war core.
Yeah,
which is like you dress like you're an anime character going off to war.
I mean, this is the future that liberals want, Grant. Anyway, before we get to our final segment, which is our listener voicemails, Jen, if you want to let us all know, let the listeners know where we can find all your wonderful content on the internet, social media, podcasts, YouTube, lay it all out.
I have my YouTube channel just over here, Doejenggles. I'm going to be uploading. I'm actually going to be making the Jimmy Kimmel like origin story, how he basically dumped Adam Carolla and how all that. So that's actually going to come out pretty soon. And then Real Weird Sickos. It's just Real Weird Sickos. You can look up Real Weird Sickos podcast on there. That's on there, and it's on Twitter too. Anywhere great podcasts are found, basically. Anywhere. We have Apple, Google, everywhere. So, and then also on Tuesday nights, we're starting back up Law and Order D&D. That's on Twitch, twitch.tv/Law and Order D&D. That's with Real Young Crip, Tom Sweeney.
Awesome.
It's a good time. I'm not very, very good at D&D. I'm still newish to it, but the story is really fun, and you should check that out too.
Cool.
I feel like you have to do the yin and the yang with those videos, because I feel like both Jimmy Kimmel and Carolla have one failed up and the other failed down. It's like a weird... Exactly.
But he actually told him, and Adam Carolla made a movie about it called Road Hard, where his friend got a night show, and he promised that he would be like his Ed McMahon to his Johnny Carson, and then he just didn't do it. So that's obviously who he was talking about. So, But I always felt like Jimmy Kimmel actually used to be really funny, because he was on the radio out here in LA when I was growing up, and he actually was really funny. So it's just kind of like
before the Man Show, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh, before the Man Show. And he actually, before Man Show, he hosted, it was a game show called Win Ben Stein's Money with Ben Stein.
Yeah.
So he hosted that way before the Man Show too. So, I mean, like the guy came up, and then he really came up, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. And then Adam Carolla, unfortunately, he just kind of But I love Adam Carolla. He's actually one of my bucket list guests for Sickos. One day.
Well, that all sounds super interesting. Like, I'm like definitely going to have to watch it because like there's a lot I don't know about that, and I want to know about that.
Definitely.
It's taken a while because there's a lot of lost media that I've had to get my hands on, but I've been able to get a lot, so that's why it's coming very soon.
Cool. Well, I'll be looking forward to it. I'm going to say as well here, if you want to give us a call on the show, our phone number is 312-788-7361, or you can always send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. So without further ado, let's have a listen, Lou.
No more ado at all.
Good evening, Jack and Off from this week's Alternate Topics News Network. I'd just like to get clarification from Doejenggles from...
Just to play that back, the guy sent us the file. His name, you did hear correctly, is Jack Knopf. So when he says "Good evening, Jack and Off," he's saying his name. Yeah. Just so everyone's aware.
Good evening,
I'll play
my name. Yeah.
Good evening, Jack and Off from this week's Alternate Topics News Network. I'd just like to get clarification from Doejenggles from the popular Doejenggles YouTube channel. Would you rather take on 100 duck-sized O.J. Simpsons or one O.J. Simpson-sized duck?
Oh, okay. 100 dog-sized O.J. Simpsons or one O.J.
Jack
Knopf.
Dog. Reddit's that way.
Oh!
Okay, so here's the thing. I have a slight obsession with OJ Simpson, and he knows this because I've made 2 OJ videos on him, and I'm just like,
hello,
ridiculous.
Twitter world.
I'm very, very obsessed with him. So and by the way, Jacking Off is a guy named Craig Beckett, so you should go follow him on Twitter, and he's on YouTube. And we've also collabed before, but I would rather take on the one OJ sized duck.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, yeah, that's like 100 like small OJ Simpsons.
That would be way too scary. That'd be way too scary.
And we all know what the hell he did.
That's 100 little knives.
Yeah,
and 100 little pairs of gloves. I don't want that.
He didn't specify if the large dog would be mean or not. It could be the nicest dog in the world. It'd just be as big as O.J. Simpson, big Clifford the Red Dog.
I'll take the big one because it's just like if I need to take it out. For any reason, it's easier than taking on 100. So
that was one of the easiest would you rathers, I think.
Oh yeah, totally. Have you seen the one video where OJ's on like 2020 or something, and they're gonna interview him about like did he do it or whatever, and he just like has a fake knife and like pushes through a door and pretends to stab one of the producers.
I put
it's
that at the end.
Funniest thing.
I made like a video about him coming back to Twitter a little bit after when he first came back, and everybody was just like freaking out. And I kind of did like a little bit of his origins and why it's bad for him to do that. And at the very end of the video, I did that where she was like, it was his idea of a joke, and I didn't think it was so funny. And he goes, it was great. I love that clip so much.
Yeah, a little dark humor never hurt anybody.
That guy.
Yeah. I'm sure he was joking in 1994 also. Let's go ahead.
Totally. Oh my God. It was just a prank, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
O.J. Simpson, the original, I don't know, one of those guys. Logan Paul. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. He's just a regular Logan.
Speaking of weird names, I just want to point to the fact that every time we get a voicemail, it Google translates, or not Google translates, but it does like the transcription of like roughly what it says. And a lot of times they're funny. Most of the time they're not. But this is from It's Your Boyfriend Kirkman is so I just wanted to point that out and play this.
Is that my boyfriend?
Boy, Brian Kirkman, calling in the new year with a message for the boys. And Doejenggles, saw you're having on Doejenggles. It should be pretty fun. Hope you had a great time.
We did. Thank you, Brandon.
Curious,
thank you.
Who in the Mushroom Kingdom do you think is a virgin and who isn't a virgin? I don't want your obvious choices like Mario, obviously not a virgin. Luigi, obviously not a virgin. They're getting it. I want to know like what you think about your bullet bills, your Kameiks, your dry bones. Like, are they getting it? Are they not? Why? What's holding them back? Please take 20 minutes going over this. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, that's
there
great.
It is. I have an answer. Now,
Of course you do.
Of course, I've thought about this extensively. So, I mean, those are okay. So, Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, those are like, characters. No, what he's referring to, they're more like species. There's like a million, even like Yoshi. Like we all know we love Yoshi, but there's a million, there's a whole species of Yoshis. There's a whole bunch of Toads. There's a whole bunch of Bullet Bills and everything like that. I like to think that it's like that scene from Matrix Reloaded where they're all like having that big rave orgy in Zion. Like all of the Bowser's minions, like the Koopas, the Goombas, they're all just like all hot and sweaty and like fucking dancing on each other, like, rubbing up, and they're all like slick and everything like that. And they're all fucking each other, That's how they keep making more of them. They're all fucking each other. They're all like these just genderless fuck things for Bowser to breed and Mario
genderless fuck things
for Mario to jump on and kill.
Beloved,
it's definitely a Goomba.
It's not. It's for everybody, Grant.
Okay? The Goombas are sexless. They're just. I can't see them like doing it. So. Definitely, Goombas are virgins.
Those might.
They don't need to have sex. They don't have any sex organs. That's the way that I look at it.
Well, that we can
Goombas
see.
don't have sex. I just don't think they do. Dry bones. I think dry bones do. I mean, what he said. I totally think that they do.
Goombas probably fillet each other.
Goombas
they would
look
have to.
too
right
cranky,
there.
like they just don't care about life. To like, that's why I don't think they're getting any.
They only have
cranky.
2 teeth.
I mean, that would kind of make it easier for certain things. That would make it easier to fillet because it could just go right through. I mean, you're not going to worry about biting down. I mean, that works, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's all the thought I want to put into this. Let's go on the next voicemail here.
My 2 minutes of hate this week is...
Hello, Dilbert text.
I don't know. Staples.
Staples?
Do it as you will.
He left that voicemail and then in the Discord said that was his magnum opus.
I mean, he's left better voicemails. I'll just say that much. But Staples, was that what he said?
Yeah, I don't know if he means the company or like a physical staple.
I thought Staples the store.
I'm going to assume he means just like, staples. Like they can be annoying. When you staple something and then you got to unstaple it, that sucks. Or when the stapler gets jammed and then like it's sometimes you got to like dig in there and like pull out the whole row of staplers. That sucks.
One time I was going to physical therapy for a shoulder injury and they had me do like these like ground exercises. I don't like just walkouts or some fucking shit. And it was like a carpeted room and a staple found its way halfway through my hand.
Oh man.
Which was just like, dude, what the fuck? You're a physical therapist's office. You guys didn't check the ground for staples?
They're tiny, they're easy to miss, and they're painful. I'm right there with you, Dilbert Tex.
Yeah,
Fuck
actually,
staples.
he's sold me on this
Wow.
topic. That's
you know what?
good.
I think that may have been his magnum opus after all. Wouldn't you know? We just had to talk about it first.
Yeah.
Digest it.
We had to make it better for him. And this is the last one.
Hello,
Last but not
Doc.
least.
Once again, it is I, Leo, the Incredible, gracing your voicemail, which is always a pleasure. I hope you boys are doing well on this fine Thursday.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Here is Thought Crime for January 13th of 2022. G4 television. Yes, G4 television. Tell me, gentlemen, what was the point? What was the thought that went into trying to revive a 2000s gaming channel in the year 2022? That's all we need. A 60-year-old geriatric Adam Sessler explaining
Morgan
video
Webb.
games to young people. I don't know. It's a thought crime. It's just through and through reviving G4 and having any hope of it having any relevance in the year of 2022. It baffles the mind. And if it baffles my mind, I believe it should be considered a thought crime. I don't know what you gentlemen think, but I'd love to hear it. Have a great night, guys.
You too, Leo. Now, I did find this decision a little bit puzzling myself because there are so many And I guess this kind of relates back to a topic we talked about a little bit earlier, where there's so many independent, creators and people on YouTube who talk about games and everything like that. And then now we're like going back to like a TV channel, and I feel what Zoomers do you know that are watching TV at all?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have like some fond memories of watching a lot of those shows, but
it's a different time.
20 years into the future, you sort of realize that like all the worst people sort of got their starts from some of those shows. Like that's where Olivia Munn started. And she destroyed John Mulaney's marriage.
She's a home wrecker.
I'm beyond myself in anger at that fact. Or isn't like that basically where Chris Hardwick got his start? Like from
Possibly?
that type of humor, like maybe not from that, but like
Chris Hardwick got his start on the same radio station that Jimmy Kimmel got his start on.
Wow.
Jesus. I hate that guy.
Now you know.
Where legends are made, I suppose.
Yeah.
And destroyed. But yeah, I wanted to say too, like, what's also strange to me is that G4, there's I think I mentioned on the show, I've given a key to the city given a key to the city to him in the past. Scott the Woz, he's like a video game YouTuber. They just like repurposed his YouTube channel and like are syndicating it as a TV show. So it's like, I mean, it's like a cool move for him because he's like, yeah, I have a TV show. That's something I didn't think I could say. But at the same time,
that's cool.
It's just like his YouTube videos and edited for syndication.
It's always like the sanitized version of that shit, but like still nonetheless, it's like, yeah, good for you.
So yeah, it's weird. I don't fully get it, but thank you for your voicemail nonetheless. And like I said, if you want to leave your own, if that inspired you, our phone number is 312-788-7361. Or you can always send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, get some bonus content, hang out in the live chat with us during the video episode recordings, you can head on over to patreon.com/thoughtcops, where we make every dollar count. For just $2 a month, you get extra shows, extra bonus episodes of Fire Bros. We like to review different kinds of media and spin-offs and everything like that. And then, we got all kinds of other tiers on there too. So if that tickles your fancy, if you want to help the show out, help out me and Grant, it would mean a lot. Patreon.com/thoughtcops. Jen, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. You guys
thank you to everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
See you, Space Cop.